All right, let's get into it, Jules.
Yeah?
I'm going to give you the word for the problem. Actually, I'm going to give you the word for the problem. Actually, you know what? You know how much I love the law and lawyers, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be the judge, a very impartial judge. You will be the prosecution because I'm presuming you want to prosecute Tuchel here, right?
Yeah.
And the Honorable Jan Aage Fjortoft will be the counsel for the defense.
Okay.
What is the j'accuse against?
No, but like
Thomas
I
Tuchel?
think you should do the j'accuse because
I'll do the j'accuse.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
I'm more into Jan's team in terms of wanting to defend him because I just don't think he's sold on him. You were not happy that Nagelsmann was sacked and was replaced by Tuchel. You felt Nagelsmann deserved more time, which is fair enough.
Which is true because the Tuchel's record is far worse than Nagelsmann's. But go ahead.
But knowing Tuchel like we all three of us do, right? There's clearly for him to be like this. So the war of words with Matthäus and all the pundits on Sky Germany and all of that. Clearly the tension within his team, within his squad, within his dressing room, within the club, I think it's just also taking his toll. He doesn't feel like he can just fully focus on the pitch. He didn't maybe get the players that he wanted in the summer, apart from Harry Kane, but he wanted a number 6. Whether you agree or not that this Bayern team needs a 6, it's a different problem. He's your manager. He wants a number 6. He should have got a number 6.
Okay. This is your defense of...
No, I'm just saying, this is the start of the discussion. There's no defense. Like, I think that it's not just all on him. Jan agrees with me. You think it's all his fault. I don't understand even how you can say it's all his fault.
I'm not going to say it's all his fault. But I'm saying is the buck has to stop somewhere. And while it's true, and Jan, I want to bring you in here. It's true that coaching Bayern is a difficult job because you have 100 people and 150 opinions, and they're all arguing and talking and sniping and the limelight and whatever else. But guess what? A lot of coaches who are far worse than Thomas Tuchel have managed to do it and won. Maybe it didn't last long, but they did it and they actually won things, including your pal Mr. Kovac and whatever. Everybody who's been there since Pep Guardiola has won. In fact, before Pep Guardiola too, right? Every single person has won the title.
Yeah, but...
And we've never seen... I don't remember...
He's won the title as well, Tuchel.
What?
Tuchel has won the title.
Level on points with Borussia Dortmund.
It doesn't matter. He's won a title and he can still win this one.
Yes, okay.
Carlo won a title and then got sacked in September.
Okay.
So
if the season began, right, when what's his name, when Nagelsmann was sacked, he would not have won the title.
It doesn't
correct?
matter. He won the title.
Okay. Fine, right. But the point is they win the title every year, right? Now he's 7 points behind. And what concerns me is, Jan, people know what working at Bayern is like. People know the pressures, right? Thomas Tuchel knew this. He knows what he's walking into. He knows the responsibility of the job. He's had big, difficult jobs before. I don't think Paris Saint-Germain is a dawdle either, especially with those people in charge. If it's a problem of culture, the culture comes from the guy who's with the players all the time. The person who goes away with the players at training camps, the person who works with them, the person who knows what buttons to push, the person who I presume decides to play Guerrero in midfield and brings him in and Leimer at right back and trust this guy with that one. It's not fair to expect him to perform miracles or keep all the players happy all the time. But when you blame culture, a big part of the manager's job is to instill the culture in the squad. Or am I wrong here, Jan?
No, you're right. I think that what you have to start with is to understand Bayern, because based on the German culture, based on German pundits, there are only, I guess, 3 coaches in the whole world in the last 100 years that can coach Bayern. That is Udo Lattek, Ottmar Hitzfeld, and is Jupp Heynckes. Everybody else are just nobodies. Let's just know that for a fact. So it doesn't matter who will be there. Even Pep Guardiola, they won't admit it now. When Pep left Bayern, they said, well, it was time for something new. It was too complicated.
I remember that all too well.
Yeah. And the trainings were a bit too intense. There was too into details. Okay, enough said about that. If you just isolate the Tuchel thing that he's done at Bayern, it's not been a success. We have to admit that. He took over a team. Dortmund said, we don't want the trophy, so we give it to you. But fair enough, he won the league. That is with Jules. I give that to Jules. He's out of the Cups, he was out of the Champions League, and so on and so on. What I do say is that is not... Tuchel is a part of the problem and the solution, but it's also something in the Bayern culture they have to do. So, okay, They fired Nagelsmann. He was the best young coach ever. It was like the Harry Potter of coaching. Okay, we take him out. That didn't work. We take Thomas Tuchel. It's a bit different. He's more the Voldemort in the Harry Potter story. He comes in and he's tried to kind of get a culture together. Salahamidzic out, Oliver Kahn out. They didn't do enough, and blah 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 blah. The problem is with Bayern is that they will keep on doing this forever. And that's my point. There is only 3 coaches who could do that. Who should they get now? They don't want to Pep back. Oh, yeah, we do Klopp. We can take Klopp. I swear to God in heaven, if Klopp will stay there after 6 months, it will be exactly the same thing, even worse, because Klopp is the media man, and he will kind of have a go at them.
You know what? When you say it could be the same thing, even worse, in terms of chaos and backbiting and whatever, maybe. But in terms of performances on the pitch, in terms of results, would it necessarily be worse? I don't know. We're basically saying this job is impossible. Nobody can win. But then they do. They won the title 1,000,000 years in a row. So clearly those two things don't necessarily jibe. I'm sorry. I see a bit of an inconsistency there.
Yeah, no. I think, but I agree with Jan. It's a really tough job, though. And you said it yourself too, Gab. I think where Tuchel is not helping himself is that clearly he's not really sure exactly what to do. So there's a problem with Kimmich, and we can talk about Kimmich. I know how you feel about Kimmich, but please repeat it. I want to know what Jan thinks about what could be the problem between Tuchel and Kimmich. Do they just don't get on? Would Tuchel want Kimmich to be better and to do a better job in that midfield? Would he love him to be a right back? And clearly he can't do that. That's why he put Leimer there and not Kimmich. I just don't know, but there's clearly a problem, and he took him off early in that game, which felt very much like a humiliation in Munich for someone like Kimmich. And also the fact that the numbers don't lie. They had been unbeaten in 32 games in all competition at home. They lost under Tuchel. I think they've been scoring at least 1 goal for the last 65 games at home under all those managers. They don't do it under Tuchel. So as much as I like him and love him and want to defend him, me and Jan, against you, there's also a point where I don't think he's helping himself. And when you break those records, who are bad records, because, as we've been saying, this is Bayern, then I think that has to be against you too.
I think with friends like Jules, Tuchel doesn't really need enemies there. When you rattle off,
I do both. I do friend and no friends.
All right, we'll get to Kimmich in a minute, because obviously that's a major issue. But I want to ask a little bit about the right back situation, because again, I go back to this, right? Pavard leaves, who I'm not a big Pavard guy, but I think he did win a few things with his national team and was a decent servant. And I understand there were contractual issues, whatever. Stanisic also leaves. Okay, fine. And now you're in the situation. And in this, all summer long, you break balls over Palhinha, number 6, number 10, 27, whatever. Like you're reading the freaking lottery numbers, right? And you only realize there's an issue at right back now?
No, I think they were also trying to get a right back. But they just ran out of time.
And then they can only count to 3 when it comes to center backs.
That's not Tuchel's fault, yeah?
And then they realize they need a 4th one, right?
That's not Tuchel's fault. That's not on Tuchel, the recruitment.
Oh, I see. Okay, no.
No,
Okay,
I'm just asking you. I'm asking you.
Well, look, I genuinely believe, and I'm assuming, in normal situations, and we've ascertained, Jan, Bayern, not a normal club, right? But if I am so invested in the way I want to do things as a club, that I sack Nagelsmann to bring in Tuchel, I expect to sit down with Tuchel and say, what are our priorities this summer, right? I presume Harry Kane was priority number 1, right? Because you don't want to go into battle with Choupo-Moting and Matthijs Tel, right? Tel not yet, maybe one day. And then you go down your list. And he got most of what he wanted. And then he pops up in the final days of the transfer market shouting about Palhinha and 80 million and all this nonsense. Well, dude, is he the only name on your list? Is this a special? Is it a Venn diagram of one? Sorry, Jan, go ahead.
No, I think that is a fair point, and I like the way if you have friends like Jules and you have friends like me, because I can do that way as well. Because there's no problem to see that at Bayern, the Bayern man for man, player for player, they should be ahead of Leverkusen. Alonso and Leverkusen got more of the potential out of each player they have in the squad than Tuchel has done. And I think that a lot of these things about a 6 and a right back and so on, that is very alibi. I think that is something to look for. If they didn't win, and if they got a 6, they will say we need an 8. And if they
100%.
No, okay, but
yeah, I think that is the main thing, and that is the only thing that this number 6 thing. You know, the culture in Germany, they always into these numbers and number six, because they know that Tuchel at the end will have a go at them. I don't want to hear that, and that's why we have the bridge to the Kimmich situation as well, because everybody said that he could be number 6. Or at least he said it himself. But Tuchel said, no, I don't want him on number 6. Okay, what did he play this weekend? He played number 6. He can play right back. He can solve that because he's the new Philip Lahm. No, he wasn't. Okay, so this is keep on going. So I think that this is alibi. I don't think that is the best in his court case for Tuchel, to be fair.
Since we love numbers, Jules, he played number 6 next to a guy who spent most of his career playing fullback.
Yeah. That doesn't
just
make
checking.
sense. No.
Just
But
checking.
I'm just saying, on the recruitment side, there's other people at the club, like Julien, who can clearly see there's only one right back in this squad, which is Mazraoui, who's going to go to AFCON between the beginning of January and the beginning of
This is a
mid-February.
secret that only Uli Hoeneß knows and Tuchel hasn't discovered.
No, I'm just saying that even if Tuchel, so you're blaming Tuchel for not signing a right back, right? This is what you said.
I'm blaming the club as a whole. But
yeah,
I'm saying is you have enough other people. You can't go on and on about the right back and about Palhinha.
No,
Do
I know
better
that.
with what you have.
No, fair enough. That's fair enough. I still just think that the club didn't help him by not signing another right back. Okay, the 6 is a more debatable position and signing, but certainly a right back. Or don't let Stanisic go on loan to Bayer Leverkusen then.
So I'm sorry. Is it plausible that they let Stanisic go without asking Tuchel first? Is it plausible that they said, hey, Tommy T, Benjamin Pavard's contract is going to expire in a year's time. He wants a ton of money. We're not sure about giving it to him. Is it okay to sell him to Inter?
Yeah, but then...
do we need to buy somebody else? No? Okay, fine.
That's not true. I don't believe it. Any second that Tuchel said we don't need to replace Pavard and Stanisic. This is not true. This can't be true. Really can't be true. Tuchel would have wanted another right back. Uli Hoeneß would have wanted another right back. Anybody working at that club would have looked at that squad and said, listen, there's clearly weaknesses there, including a right back. So it's impossible that Tuchel didn't say, like, let's have another right back.
Maybe he was hoping to rehabilitate Bouna Sarr.
No, but they just let them go and could not sign a replacement because
right.
sometimes you can't sign someone.
Before we have the big Kimmich 6 debate, can we just talk about the 3 debate, as in Davies? What's going on? I know there's a contractual issue.
Yeah, I think he doesn't want to be there anymore.
And so he decides to play badly the whole year?
But last season he was already, I don't know what he had things. Last season he was already not great, to be fair.
Well, yeah, he came back from his injury and then he struggled.
True.
And I chalked it up to that. This season, I think he's really struggled. Is it all Fonzie's fault that he's not been the Fonzie we know? Or is some of that on Tuchel, Jan?
Well, first of all, I think that players who's not performing, they have first to have to look at themselves. That is point one. And there is also, and that's why we can discuss the Real Madrid link, contractual situation. And there is a lot of players who can't handle that. I mean, you have strong personalities. They say, we don't care. And then I go to a free or whatever. Other players, young players, see themselves in another perspective. They maybe forget to do the thing. I'm not saying Davies do that because I don't see them in training. But what we do see in games is that Davies hasn't developed. And that is down to the player himself, because I haven't seen anything in the games or anything in the formation of Bayern that denies him doing his run, denies him doing the overlaps on that left side. I haven't seen that, but I can see a lot of players getting insecure because of the others' performance back there. You see Upamecano, when he had one of those days off, it's quite hard to play good next to him, and so on.
Well, I don't know. I just saw Davies. I saw Mitchell Weiser blowing past him.
Yeah,
Mitchell,
the goal is
Mitchell Weiser, who misspells his own first name, by the way, only just one L. I'm shocked at that stage of the game.
Yeah, that's bad.
All right, Joshua Kimmich. Was passiert here, Jan?
Your favorite.
What's going on?
Favorite.
Why is this situation? Like, honestly, should Kimmich just saying, all right, I'm going to shut my mouth and play, and you'll be gone, Tommy, and I'll just get on with it because I'm going to outlast you. Is that what he should be doing?
Yeah, but I think, we should sometimes not search too hard for good metaphors. But I was seeing Kimmich from when he was a kid coming into Bayern. He's kind of this crown prince of German football. Everybody said he's going to be the captain of Germany. Everybody said he's going to be the captain of Bayern. Oh, he's so great, this man. He doesn't even have an agent, and so on and so on. But if you have a very close look at Bayern, there were times that he was the problem. Didn't have maybe the progress, the energy. Is he a great player? Of course he's a great player. We know we're taking it to the next step. And I think that something has happened in Bayern. I think they just had enough of him for some different reason. Because to be a leader, to be a future captain, to be a crown prince, you need the palace to support you. And I'm with Jules. Yes, Goretzka was on the bench now. That was humiliating for him. But taking him off when we need a goal in the 64th minute, you take Kimmich off, and you know the discussion going on in Germany, that is a sign. There is something going on. And I think that these are maybe a player that some English club will use a lot of money to get and say, we got a bigger star at Bayern, and Bayern say, yeah, I got you.
So Bayern want Mukiele from PSG because he can play right back, centre back, even left back. He's a good squad player to have. I'm not saying that he's the new Beckenbauer, but this. And in those discussions, I think PSG were led to believe from the Kimmich camp that there was a possibility that maybe if they put Mukiele and some money, that Kimmich might come the other way. So I don't think this will happen. And I think January is not... If Bayern want to get rid of Kimmich, you have to do it in the summer so you've got more time to replace him, prepare, all of that. However, whether it's the Kimmich camp who opened the door and say, yeah, like a bit like Jan was saying, we kind of fancy something else than Bayern now. Whether it's Bayern who are trying to kind of push him out, but there's clearly something else happening there because the Mukiele deal from PSG to Bayern is an easy deal to do. He's not playing much at PSG. PSG bought him for 10 million. They can sell him for 30. It's great profit from him. This is a super easy deal to do. If the deal hasn't been done yet, it's because PSG are trying to get Kimmich into that deal for him to come to PSG. And again, that might not happen, and Mukiele might not even make the move from Paris to Munich, or he might still do it on his own. But I think that's a good insight in a way of what's going on in Munich around Joshua Kimmich right now.
So you guys are talking about the possibility of moving of moving Joshua Kimmich out, and you keep saying Bayern, right? Do you mean Tuchel, who of course used to work for Paris Saint-Germain?
No.
You mean actually Bayern?
So you mean?
So I'm sorry. Now, so we're turning this into triangulation now, right? I am Uli Hoeneß. I am the Lord and Master of Bayern, right? And I see Tuchel and Kimmich, right? My manager, who I spent an enormous amount of money on with the Nagelsmann compensation or whatever, and the Crown Prince, the man who's going to carry Thomas Muller's crown when he retires in about 15 years. I see these two guys fighting, and my solution is maybe to get rid of both of them?
Yeah, but hang on. You're really honest. You haven't been happy with Joshua Kimmich's performances for a while.
I'm assuming he hasn't been happy with Thomas Tuchel's performances.
No, we don't talk about Thomas Tuchel.
Okay,
we talk
fine.
about Kimmich, right?
Yeah.
If you're really honest and you watch every single game, pretty much every single training session, you have seen Kimmich not doing well, right?
Oh, so but maybe Tuchel says they train really, really well all the time.
Come on, Gab, please. So if you're really honest, what do you do then? Because maybe Uli Hoeneß finds there's a Kimmich problem too, outside of Tuchel or whoever could be the manager.
Well, if I'm okay.
Listen, we're forgetting one point here, which need to be taken into our conspiracy kind of analysis, is that Kimmich was, by Julian Nagelsmann, the main man. Remember back in the days, that was this story. This is a typical kind of German sport football story, that Kimmich was on a ski holiday, met him in his chalet or whatever. They don't like that, the German football players. They don't like that at Bayern. So I'm not sure that this Kimmich kind of thing is a Tuchel thing. I think it's a Bayern thing. Yeah. Do I think that they maybe can solve that? Yes, I do. Yeah. Because they will see what's in the market, how much they will get from another player. Maybe he will sign for another 3, 4, 5 years. But it's still, this is a Bayern thing with Kimmich.
I find this whole thing, you know, and people talk about the concept of creative destruction leading to excellence in corporations and whatever else. I don't know, maybe this is just the Bayern way. Because, you know, it wasn't that long ago. Remember Neuer and our friend Tapalovic or whatever the hell his friend is, right? Here's another Bayern legend, right? and all of a sudden he's the problem. Let's not give him, right? We question Manuel Neuer. Now we've moved on because Neuer's old. Oh, look, who can we crap on next? What other Bayern legend? Oh, Joshua Kimmich. No, seriously. And if I'm Jamal Musiala, guess what? You're going to be next. Once we're done with Kimmich, we're going because why? I'm assuming they do this, Jan, because otherwise life would be too easy for Bayern.
Well, let's put it. Yeah, a good point. But if you see, they were happy with Bastian Schweinsteiger. Manchester United took him. Philipp Lahm retired. They were happy with him. Thomas Müller. I think this is my opinion. I think that also Bayern think it should be time up for Thomas Müller. I think that they think that now it's a time to start building on younger players, but they can't do that. I was in a football studio with Christoph Freund, and I said to Christoph, can you imagine that if you have to start here at Bayern throwing out Thomas Müller, he wouldn't have a job, Christoph Freund. So let's not make this up to make it easy for them, because this is quite hard. And do they go on legends? Well, Sir Alex bombed out Roy Keane. So this is the thing that happened in big clubs. So I wouldn't be worried about that.